since her parents bought the clawfoot bathtub, Janie had felt ill at ease when she went to the toilet. Her father said it was a vintage Victorian tub, but she suspected he had just gotten it cheap from an old antique store. Almost everything they owned was used. Her father could never resist a discount. Something about the antique bath bothered her. Perhaps it was dark, ugly, reddish-brown stains on the porcelain. Maybe it was the way the gnarled cast iron legs of the bath jutted out at an odd angle. They looked like the paws of some monstrous, misshapen beast. Sometimes she imagined the bathtub suddenly standing up and scuttling out of the bathroom while her back was turned. Janie was almost 13 years old, but her mother still treated her like a child, telling her when to wake up, when to do her homework, when she could watch TV, and when she had to go to bed. Her parents seemed to argue constantly about everything. Even the slightest thing would spark a feud that lasted for hours. She couldn't remember a time when there had been a peace and quiet in the house. All day long, her mother and father would be at each other's throats having arguments after arguments. Often at night, when her parents were yelling and screaming, Janie would put a pillow over her head to block out the noise and cry herself to sleep. With all the chaos at home, the young girl sometimes felt as if she was losing her mind. Lately, she had begun to doubt her sanity more and more. Every time she went into the bathroom to take a shower or brush her teeth, she would see things out of the corner of her eye. Reflected in the mirror, she could see the clawfoot bathtub behind her. Once she thought she saw blood running out of the faucet. But when she turned to look, the taps weren't running. On another occasion, she fancied she saw some dark, shadowy shape lying in the tub, its head barely peeking over the side. Of course, she spun around her face, her heart facing with fear, but the clawfoot bathtub was empty. Whenever she undressed and stepped into the tub to take a shower, she had the strangest sensation that she was being watched. The hair on the back of her neck stood up and she felt like someone was staring at her naked body. One night, while she was taking a shower, she dropped the soap. As she bent down to pick it up from the bottom of the tub, she lost her balance and fell backwards. Suddenly, it felt as if her hands were grabbing her and holding her under the water. The terrified girl kicked and struggled, eventually freeing herself from the invisible paws that seemed to clutch tightly at her skin. Spluttering and gasping for air, she thought she could hear faint laughter echoing around the small bathroom. In the morning, she decided to pay a visit to the local antique shop where her father had purchased the clawfoot bathtub. When she asked the owner about the vintage bath he had sold a few days before, she was shocked by the horrifying tale he had to tell. Apparently, the old clawfoot bathtub dated back to the Victorian era. The man said that it had once belonged to an infamous and reviled serial killer named George High. Janie's jaw dropped and she began to shake with fear. The man said that the serial killer would lure young girls back to his house and run a bath for them. Then, while they bathed, he would spy on them through a hole he had drilled in the wall. When they least expected it, he would pounce on them and hold their heads underwater until they drowned. The evil murderer then chopped up their bodies with an axe and disposed of the pieces in the garbage. After a number of young girls went missing in that area, his terrible deeds finally caught up with him. A neighbor was snooping through his trash when she came across the grisly remains and contacted the police. They arrested him and put him on trial. He was found guilty and executed by hanging. Janie was terrified beyond belief. She realized that she had to convince her parents to get rid of the clawfoot bathtub before something horrible happened. The young girl ran back to her house as fast as her legs would carry her. When she got back home, she found her father sitting alone in the living room sofa. The TV was off and the house was deathly quiet. "Where's Mom?" asked Jani. "She's upstairs taking a bath," said her father. "I'll go check on her." Jani sat on the sofa while her father went upstairs. The house was so quiet it unnerved her. She wasn't used to this much silence. Suddenly, she heard a series of short, sharp clunks coming from the upstairs, followed by slow, deliberate footsteps that echoed across the ceiling and traveled down the stairs. Her father appeared at the door to the living room. His eyes were glazed and he had an odd look on his face. Then she noticed he was holding a bloody axe. "Your mother's finished," he growled. "Now it's your turn to take a bath." Pale Man. The Pale Man in Pan's Labyrinth is based on Tinob, a Japanese urban legend about the ghost of a blind man who has eyes on the palms of his hand. Ti-nom means eyes on hands. There was a blind old man who was attacked by robbers. They beat him viciously and left him to die alone in the fields. As he lay dying, the blind man carried in anger and frustration. "If only I could see their faces, but my eyes can't see. If only I had eyes on the palms of my hands." Because he died in such a state of rage and agony, the blind man returned as a ghost named Tinom. His desire for revenge was so great that his blind eyes were gone, and he grew a new pair of eyes on the palms of his hand. Now Tinom roams around cities and villages searching for the robbers who murdered him. He is able to see by holding his hands out in front of him. But Tinom never saw the face of his attacker, so he simply kills whoever he can get his hands on. Although he has eyes in his hands, he is still figuratively blinded by his anger. One night, a Japanese boy was dared by his friends to go into the graveyard and test his courage. As the boy walked through the cemetery, he suddenly saw an old man emerge from the darkness. As the figure got closer, he noticed that the old man was blind and had eyeballs on the palms of his hands. The terrified boy fled as fast as he could. He ran into a temple and begged the priest to help him. The priest told him to hide in a chest and then went off to hide himself. When Tinom entered the temple, he wandered around with his hands held out in front of him, searching for his prey. The boy crouched inside the chest, not daring to breathe as he listened to the sound of footsteps coming closer and closer to his hiding place. The footsteps stopped right next to him and he heard a strange sucking sound. Slurp, slurp, slurp. In the morning, the priest came out of the hiding. He opened the chest to let out the boy. But when he peered inside, he was horrified. The young boy was dead. Tinom had sucked all the blood and bones out of the boy's body, leaving nothing behind but his limp, saggy skin.